G'day everyone. Proud to say Bar Karate is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners. Welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer. It's that time of the week where we can hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
Well, g'day all. How's everyone today?
We're good, mate. We're wondering if it's you. We can't see you.
Yeah, technical problems.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, I've been sold a dud.
What's that?
The brochure of the last 2 weeks of sunny weather and beautiful conditions, and you know, I thought this is great. This is awesome. I'm working hard here in Portugal and enjoying the weather. Well, it's hit with a vengeance. Kind of fitting, really.
Yep.
It is absolutely pumping outside, and yeah, there you go.
That's interesting.
You had to try out your new surfboard at Nazaré, BP.
Yeah.
Well, I was just about to get one today, to be honest.
Oh, guitars, surfboards. You're back to your youth, mate. I love it.
Oh, mate. Yeah. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but anyway, all good. Weather's good.
We'll come back to that in a sec, mate. Let's bring in the other bloke.
No doubt.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Back on the home deck, man.
Oh, but
Well,
you've been
yesterday.
there. You've been home 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. No, I was only awake at about 1:30 a.m. this morning, so I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs waiting for this show to go. Woke up 4 hours before we needed to do it. But
actually, the irony, that's how we started podcasts, because, that's what we used to do to try and get ourselves back to sleep, was listen to a podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, normally I'm considering myself a pretty lucky traveller. Normally.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
But things were not aligning. I don't know what you bastards have been doing, but you've caught me out.
Well, the last time you got on the last trip, you had to leave the plane because of human feces everywhere.
Oh, actually, I've had a bad year now you mention it. Not my feces, by the way.
Yeah, no.
But leaving Adelaide, and I missed my little flight to Melbourne to get the Emirates connection, where I thought I'd upgrade myself with my points. Here I am, ended up on a Qatar Airways sitting in about 76B the whole way. Couldn't go to the lounge when it got there, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff.
No, you've had it.
And then only this week was up in the north of France, heading to the south of France, and plane got delayed, too much fog in the south of France. So I pretty much roll into, and Jordan, you'll cream yourself over this one, to the ultimate boatyard. And which I'll talk more about. I won't let on just yet, but just made it for lunch. Had and then did a boatyard tour, then left again. Pretty much.
That was it.
Yeah, got plenty done over lunch. Then I get the train to go to Barcelona. Had a few people to catch up with.
Nice.
Crash on the train tracks.
No.
So my train gets delayed a couple of hours. But as it turned out, roll into Sci-Fi's house, have a good old-fashioned barbie.
Nice.
Yeah, 18 bottles of sparkling water for the night, and had a good old time. And then finally made all the way home and lost my luggage.
Oh.
So only for it to be delivered about 11 o'clock last night with all the podcasting kit in it. Oh. So luckily, we're back. So basically, I'm back. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
Who gives a stuff about your clothes, mate? At least you got your podcasting kit.
Exactly.
Oh, dear. I was just going to say, I want to go back on BP's point about being young again, because like he's getting his surfboards and guitars. I only worked out the other day, through my university career, which was not very intense, more social than study.
Well, from an academic point of view.
I used to run around in an old Volkswagen van, had it all kitted out, go away camping and sleeping in the back of it. And no, I've regressed as well.
Yeah, what have you got?
Yeah, I've got a van, going away all kitted out to go camping.
I know. We've been watching the growth and development of this van.
Oh, that's good. But we're going back to our past, BP. We're going back to our youth. We just can't let go, mate.
We're
forever young. Yeah, I love it.
It's instilled within. It's cellular.
Well, I think it's because of our sport. We're into a sport that lets us do all sorts of fun adventures. That spirit of adventure is strong, and whether it's competition or cruising or doing whatever, like you get out there in the elements, and so you're not just sitting there watching TV, you're doing things, and so I don't think that goes away, and so it's something we've done for life, and that leads on to this sort of, we have a great experience, and I think that's one of the reasons we love it. I'd like to bring in our guest on that segue. Is that cool?
Yeah, good
it was
segue,
beautiful segue
Yeah.
too. Not sure what it's leading to, but sounds good.
This guy's got a sense of adventure as well, and I just sort of think, going down one path, and then you go with the adventure that presents. And our guest today is probably a gift to you guys, to the listener. I feel like it's a gift to the listener because
Huge.
it is huge guest, but there's so much knowledge that, or benefit that will come from this discussion for the listener. And so it was a real critical one. And we thought, given all the travel that's going on our end and, trying to pull this together has been, I don't know, I think there's been more difficult things to pull together, but not many. Maybe, I was just going to do a joke.
Maybe the nuclear war.
Well, I always refer it to like launching a NASA shuttle.
Yeah, it takes a bit. It does take a bit. But anyway, our guest this week has been an Olympic sailor. Went to the Olympics in '92 in the 470 class, and we're going to have some good conversation about that. Has won a bunch of national champs. Is a New Zealander, so we'll have to speak slowly. But also was the weather manager back in the America's Cup in the Alinghi days. Providing a lot of weather information, and from that spun out into, and again, I will emphasise we're not being paid to have this person on, spun out into a company called PredictWind. And PredictWind is one of those things that has changed our sport. And so we wanted to understand...
Absolutely.
Hey? Absolutely? Is that what you said?
Absolutely, it has, yeah. Yeah.
The nature of our sport, and I was only thinking about that this week, how important it is to us and how we can go to sea safely because of people like Jon. So I want to welcome to Barkarati, Jon Bilger, and have a really interesting chat. So, mate, it's great to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks, Jordan. Very nice introduction. Thank you. Cheers.
He does his homework, Jon. So be aware. He'll probably ask you about what roses you've got in your garden or something this week.
Oh, no, I already know.
But of course, he forgot to mention one of your greater achievements, of course, and being part of the Amos sports team back in the day, where we used to rub shoulders in the container and talk a bit of shit. So,
exactly.
They were the days.
Exactly.
Well, I guess we have to let's open up onto the PredictWind thing. Because we're going to sort of keep coming back and in and out of that, I feel, throughout how it all ties. So just explain what PredictWind is. If people aren't using it, what it is and how it started.
Yeah, so we're a weather forecasting company, globally. And our aim is to bring, weather which is very complex, accurate weather, and make it simple and accessible to anyone, anywhere. How did it start off? As you said, I was around the weather program for the Alinghi America's Cup team for 10 years, and very fortunate to have to get the job. It was a bit of a miracle. They really took a punt on me.
Oh.
I've got an engineering background, obviously being in the top, sort of a racing circuit, but no weather background, like nothing.
Yeah.
They said, oh, smart guy, engineer, sailing background, he'll figure it out. It's like, and I think they're a bit shocked. They thought I was actually, once they did, I thought I was a weather modeler, and I was like, hello, no, I'm not. I quickly figured out that I need to get a bunch of very smart people around me. So did a bit of research. My uncle was actually a professor of engineering in Sydney University. And anyway, he had some good connections with CSIRO in Australia. So we looked at lots of different technology around the world, but ended up hooking up with the head modelling guy of CSRO in Australia, and that's actually the basis of our modelling technology in Alinghi, and it led on to PredictWind. So yeah, we had some really great talent within the within the team, and top meteorologists, engineers, and kind of, I guess, using the stuff, and the sailors would go, okay, well, this is working fantastically well in the America's Cup. Can you do a forecast for us in Saint-Tropez or East Coast of the States, wherever? So we'd spin the model up for those different locations. In fact, my father even was doing a regatta in New Zealand, and I did a forecast for him as a laser regatta, and had to choose between the radar rig and the full rig. And the modelling technology predicted the right forecast for the week. It's amazing how these stories sort of progress. You kind of go from like, we got the right rig for the week to like we predict the shift on the first beach.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it was pretty cool. I sort of naively thought, accurate forecast, how hard can it be? It's still weather forecasting.
Yeah. Well, that's.
I want to touch on that if you don't mind. When you've gone into the interview and you obviously knew you were going for that role. I mean, is that what happened? Do you actually went in and
I was going for the role,
and you had no stuff all knowledge about it?
Yeah, I mean, I just Peter Evans, I think, did it in a previous thing for Team New Zealand, and he was obviously didn't have a weather background, but I just obviously they rated my ability to do it, but I didn't have any background in it at all. So I think it was actually, it's kind of a good thing in a way, because you realise that you've got to assemble a really good team around you to do the job, and we definitely had a fantastic team. And back in those days too, big budgets for weather, like big budgets. Like, I mean, I can.
So when you walked out of that office, you walked out of the interview, did you go, now what?
Yeah, oh, totally. And then you're working for Russell, and no one sets the bar higher than Russell, so you want to make sure that it gives you lots of scope to do it. But if you're not delivering, you'll see it. So here we are in Auckland, and most of the team have grown up, top yachters. You got Rory Jones, Russell Coote, Simon Daubney, all these top sailors. I mean, they've grown up sailing here, so they know the place pretty well. And in these sort of teams, everyone's a weather expert, right? Even the designers looking at the newspaper in the morning, look at the highs and lows, and go, oh, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're doing the forecast, and it's a big deal, because in those days you can only race between 7 knots and 19 knots. Anything above that or below that was either too much wind or not enough wind. So, and you had to get the boat in the water was a good hour or so to tow out to the area was an hour, so it's like a 2-hour tow. And if there's not enough wind or too much wind, everyone's sort of looking at you going like, yeah, thanks, mate.
You arsehole. Set us up.
So, but after 6 months, they actually trusted the weather modeling technology more than they did in their own, judgment. So that was a real accolade for the technology, and that gave us, I guess, was the kind of the impetus to kind of go, wow, amazing. Imagine if we could actually make this technology, accessible to everyone.
It's interesting because like I'm forever crapping on pretending I know. Like I look at a weather model and just go, okay, yeah, and make the prediction for what the Sydney Hobart's going to be in a month's time, sort of thing. But what only really is starting to occur to me as I get older is that in the models, like a PredictWind, it's not just about weather maps that have got to go into there. There's all sort of land influence and topographical information that's got to go into there, which, I hadn't actually sort of really started to click together, because some of the models aren't that great when it comes to localized weather, but that's part of what you build as well. So like for all the different, I think it's like 20,000 locations around the world. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, it's actually the 20,000 locations are just predefined ones, but you can literally select a location anywhere in Antarctica, middle of Africa. And so, we have actually millions of locations now from customers. So the weather model is amazing. It's incredibly complex, I mean, you're trying to model the Earth's atmosphere. If you really understood how complex it was, you'd be amazed at how well it does. You go, wow. It's like you go like, oh, this is incredible, you know. So yeah, you know, the weather model starts off with you know, the observations that go into the model, and that's a process in itself. So, you know, this is like satellite data, you know, land observations, aircraft data, and it's a model in itself to create. It's like a snapshot of the Earth's atmosphere right now, and that's a big file that we put into our models. You know, it's like a 60 megabit file, and that kicks off the process. And you're dividing the whole world into these cubes, horizontally and vertically. And then each cube has, you know, the physical characteristics of wind and temperature and everything like that, and how it affects every other cube. So it's an empirical model that starts off around the world. But what you're talking about in terms of topographical side of things is the higher resolution you go, the more those effects are taken into account. So if you go down to 1 kilometer resolution, and like we do in PredictWind for certain areas around the world, it's got basically all the topographical features and the heating. So, you know, for sea breezes, and as the wind bends around headlands, it does all those sort of effects. So it's not obviously 100% correct, but it gives you the trends, and you know, it really does. It's amazingly accurate. Like, I mean, we'd in Valencia, for example, America's Cup, we had like, you know, 24 weather buoys in the water and 30 land-based stations. It was a crazy program that we designed there. And you had the sea breeze in the model. You could see it, like, you know, this westerly, you know, like offshore breeze, and then you see a 20-knot sea breeze coming down the coastline, and in the model, and you go, and there's 2 breezes fighting each other, and you go, that's not going to happen. And then you can actually see it in real life on these weather buoys, the things flicking over. So it's actually incredible how it actually does an amazing job at times. Yeah.
I've just had a business idea for you, John.
What, PredictWind's not big enough?
Yeah. Welcome to Bar Karate, John, where you get all your advice. It's free, by the way. You don't have to pay us.
So I'm giving this one away. So the complex modelling, looking at behaviours, things, identifying things that are happening, and then making prediction to the future. You could model a human being and their behaviours, and then predict what they're going to do the next few days, you know. And I'd pay a lot of money to know what I'm going to do tomorrow, because it's not often.
I've already done it, John. Jordan's going to offend about 3 people. He's going to have pancakes and ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah. You could make a lot of money with that one, that's for sure. We thought about another one called, instead of PredictWind.com, we could CreateWind.com, you know. You basically, it goes to the highest bidder. So, you know, if you bid more than the other person, it's probably not a very ethical business, but yeah. Oh, sorry, you did it because you didn't bid high enough. Yeah.
So I guess let's sort of kick out for a sec. Let's get on to you. You didn't really get a choice when it came to going sailing, did you?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, how I got into it was obviously followed my dad around, triple Olympian, and he's a real, you know, iconic legend in New Zealand sailing. And he's sailing with Murray Ross at the time, and he's quite a character. And they were talking in the living room. I was sort of out in the kitchen somewhere, and I could hear them talking to each other. And Murray said to Dad, "Oh, so when are you going to get John into sailing?" He goes, "Oh, he's too young, you know." And he actually he doesn't have any money for a boat, you know. And I was like, 7 or something like that at the time. And so I came to him the next day and said, "Dad, I've got $300 saved up. Can you build me a boat?" He went, "Oh, you know, what can I say to that?" So he actually went out the next day and bought some plywood, and we bought it. He built an Optimist for me. So yeah.
How did you get $300 at 7 or 8? You're entrepreneurial, mate.
Lots of jobs.
They work them hard in New Zealand. They don't have child labour laws there.
So are we talking just, by the way, of Ross from Ross Yacht Designer fame? Murray Ross.
Exactly.
Oh, you should have asked for a Ross 780 though. Would you go?
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool. Like, do you reckon, and I might change your world here, John, do you reckon your dad knew you were listening and he set that whole conversation up just to make sure that you sort of became committed to the sport? It was like, oh, this is what I have to do. Okay, here I've got it, and boom. And then once you'd committed the dollars, you couldn't go and spend it on a BMX bike. So,
no, he had no clue. I think he was quite shocked, and
Yeah, right.
but I think he really he genuinely wanted to see it come from me rather than just being something that he sort of foisted on me. I mean, and I think it's probably a pivotal moment for me when I was doing an Optimist regatta, and he was. I mean, it's not like now where basically, the parents are just, on the coach boat. There's coaches everywhere, and there's more coach boats and women yachts, and it's just gone ridiculous, I mean, in my day, they had one coaching clinic per year. It was 1 week, and Harold Bennett ran it, and and there was no coaching. You just got out there and you left yourself to it. In fact, your parents would drop me off down the beach, and we'd sail for hours. I wouldn't know where we were. We'd gone up the river. We'd gone miles away. No phones. But as a regatta, and I was in, it was the national champs, and I kind of stuffed up with this protest situation, and it was looking pretty bad, and I ended up winning it. But at one stage there, he goes, "Yeah, actually, you got some potential there. You picked some shifts," and sort of like hearing that from your dad is like, it was a genuine, not just a pat on the back. It was like, you can do this, And so those sort of those comments are pretty huge.
Just for the rest of the world listeners who aren't New Zealand, that is pretty as effusive as you will get from a New Zealand father. That's pretty much, you've just won the World Cup in rugby and the gold medal and everything and the America's Cup. That's about as far as they go. They don't get much more effusive than that. Oh, you're doing all right, son.
100%.
So was it a steep climb then to being really good, or you were just still having fun, or it was just a bit of a click of the fingers?
I think to become good at anything, you have more failures than you do have successes, and I think
I'm going to be good soon then at something.
But yes, I mean, I think it was long, for me it didn't come easy, but I was just passionate about it, put the hard work in, and we had probably the big sort of big break for me was we did the World Youth Championships in Italy, and it was under 21 event. I was 16, straight out of the P class back. I was in the P class with the local boat here in New Zealand, and Dad sat me down before we went overseas and said, "Look, you've never done an international regatta. You got to come last, and you just accept it, just like this is it." And anyway, we did this regatta in Italy, and it was like we had these notes from actually the guy I did the Olympics with, Craig Greenwood, who's a bit older than me. He says, you start here in this condition, you start here and you bang hard right, and first race we won it, and we're going real good. Come the last race, we're in the medal contention to win, and then we get teams raced by literally 10, 12 Italian boats,
That's illegal.
The mafia.
That's illegal. The Italians would never do that.
I did it with glee. And they just sailed us down the back of the thing, and then we just took a big flyer on the last beat, and we got up to top 10, and we won it. We won it.
Huge.
Wow.
And it was like, it's kind of out of the bag thing. So it was a pretty proud moment for my dad and everything. But I mean, it's you get these sort of moments in life where you kind of you get some opportunities, and just a matter of taking them. Yeah.
That is cool. I was actually looking at that Olympics because, as you said, you did the 470 with Craig, and I think 7th, and I thought, 7th, in Barcelona, and then I looked who came 8th. Wolfgang Hunger, and there's bugger all people in the world that can claim they've beaten Wolfgang Hunger across the line because he is he's the king of kill week, and I think he won the gold in the past. I'm trying to remember. He definitely won a whole bunch of world championships. So I haven't beaten him. He's a phenomenal sailor, and that 470 class is full of really talented sailors. Do you look at that class now, how it's evolved, and just BP's giggling? I know where he do you look at?
Sorry, I'm just giggling in the background.
Yeah, I know where his brain's going. Do you look at that 470 class much anymore and sort of just track how it's evolved?
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be politically correct, but
you're probably in our camp here, mate. Keep going.
Well, I mean, back in the day, born and bred, lots of fantastic yachties, David Barnes, Hamish Wilcox, Murray Jones. Some amazing sailors came out of the 470 class, and it's such a strong class here in New Zealand. It's amazing. And, back then I, rate the boat, but now I look at it and I just look at it like it's a bathtub, with falling and stuff. And both my daughters are, growing up sailing, and, sort of a family joke is, to Lucy and Stella, you can do any sport you want. I mean, you can do sailing, or sailing.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that you can do any sport you want except 470 sailing.
Yeah. But they said, 3 years, we, kind of didn't really enjoy it. They would do it to you, but, now they love it. They're still in the sport. And then, Stella, with my younger one, was doing 29 sailing, doing reasonably well at that. She said, Dad, I just want to go foiling, And so they're basically, they're both, one's into kite falling, the other one's into wind falling. So, I kind of look at that, the way that sailing's evolved with foiling and whatnot. And, if you're young and into sailing, I mean, why wouldn't you do a foiling class? I think it's angle something fast, And a 470 just doesn't fit the bill anymore. Things have moved on, That's my opinion.
Well, you're on the wire. Do you look at the pumping thing, and do you think that, have you watched 470 pumping?
Yeah. It's obviously very physical and it's good. Yeah. But once you've been foiling, I've do kite foiling, wind foiling, winging. It's pretty hard to go back.
Yeah. Well,
or as BP was about to jump in and say, air routing, as we call it.
Air routing.
The pumping on the 470. That's
Totally.
At least you got a career in porn afterwards, I think, if you'd done that, because you've got a good back. You'd worked it hard. So with your kids, this is a bad transition. I apologise.
Yeah, no, that was shit. We'll take that one. No, we won't.
With your kids, because I saw a bunch of video of them sailing the Weta, the little trimaran thing that New Zealand invention. And it looked like actually, a lot of fun as a family.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing, because we, the kids are young. We take them on take both of them out at the same time. I remember doing this one sail from the back of our house. We sailed right up to Auckland City, and then coming back, and it's blowing like 25 knots, and we're just sending it downwind, doing like at least 20 plus knots, and they had no idea how close to the edge we were of pitch following this thing. And then one regatta we decided to. They can just, they're just done Optimist, and we just push them out in the Weta and see how they go. And they, had quite a few little interesting moments, sisterly love, few arguments, but they got around the course and beat some of the boys, so that was good. It's a great boat, great boat, real great family boat, and had some amazing times in that. We did quite a few of the national championships here, and it was fantastic. Yeah.
But do you think that intro, I guess what I was trying to get to is not plugging the Weta per se, but more around just having fun with your kids was the best intro? You were talking before with all the coaching with the Opti kids, and I'm guessing you're not out there doing that. Like you'd be very justified and be able to sit there and coach your kids given, the level of your background. But, the argument we have is just make it fun for them and they'll be good. Because they'll do.
100%. Yeah. You definitely it's got to, first and foremost, be fun. And the thing is, like with my kids, proud they're still doing it, because you look around the Optimist days, and there's all these amazing kids going so well, the girls and whatnot, and for me it was a bit of a wake up call because we were doing the Optimist Nationals one year, and it was in Napier, and Sid Menzies won it, and he's a very very amazingly talented sailor, and he gets up and he says, "Oh, I'd just like to thank this coach, and this coach," and I'm going like, oh my days, this guy's got like 2 or 3 personal coaches.
Yeah.
And I've had no personal coaching for my kids.
Yeah.
And in fact, one time we had someone want to get sponsorship with PredictWind, and my marketing manager says, "Yeah, we'll give them free PredictWind." But why don't you get them to give Lucy and Stella some free coaching? And so they came round to our house, it's at the back of our house, and then I think Lucy came in and said, "Oh, I can roll tack like the good kids now." I'm going, oh my days, I should be teaching. Oh, I was a terrible coach, terrible coach. I mean, because you're a good sailor doesn't mean you're a good coach. And I got them going in the early days, got them out there and passionate about it. But I just realised that there's a time and place for the coaching. But I think the problem is if you do it, if every time they go out they got a coach and they're doing it because they're just in a program, then when they're 18, 19, 20, are they still wanting to have that passion and do it on their own steam?
Yeah.
And so that's the great thing now is that, very proud that Lucy, I mean, they're not setting the world alight just yet, but they're passionate about what they're doing. They're doing it on their own motivation. I'm not telling them to go out and go sailing. They're actually going and doing it. So I just think you have to parents and say you play the long game. You want your kids to be doing it. And sailing's a sport for life. You can do it at any level, anything. So kind of get passionate about it, and like you say, that they'll get good at it.
Because that's certainly one of the themes we've come across, like these kids who have started with those 2 or 3 coaches. It's not long before they reach the burnout. And we might welcome them back to the sport when they're 30 years old, but they get to that certain point. It's like, losing the passion.
Yeah. Well, it's a real great leveler when you go and compete against your daughters. So like I started off competing against Lucy in the kite falling. We're not very amateur, and we did this Bay of Islands 4-week up and I beat her. the last 2 regattas, and the only reason why I beat her in the last regatta is because she had equipment failure. I said, doesn't matter.
No, you got your mates and your team sailed her out of it.
That's it.
And you had 3 coaches.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Learned it from the Italians.
But you're out there and you're pitting gas and you go, man, I'm feeling the pressure from my daughter, because I've got to beat her. And what the heck, the pressure you kind of unwittingly put on your kids, because just not even to say anything, but just the pressure, And it's, so anyway, I beat her. Then I switched classes to the windfaller. Okay, Stella, I beat her in the first couple of regattas, but then she's so far ahead of me now, it's just ridiculous.
Wow.
So I switched classes again. But
You also
Back
gave
to the P class.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get some good ones now. Some good ones floating around.
Well, so it's a good segue here because we've talked a little bit about coaching and sort of the intensity that some of the kids are going through. With PredictWind, excuse that, just throw my pen on the floor. With PredictWind, there'd be a lot of interaction with the coaches these days because of how to utilise the tool, but also at an entry level, how to actually understand weather. Like I'm guessing you're quite a busy man just from that perspective alone.
Well, I mean, we're a weather forecasting company for sure, but really what we are is a development company, So we are a software development company that basically making that weather accessible. So we don't have we're not doing any personalized weather forecasting. And that's, to be honest, one of the reasons why I got into this game too, is because there's quite a bit of pressure when you have to tell a team, go left, go right, high confidence, low confidence. And you get, when you start doing these sort of personalized weather things, you get really into that whole world, and you get, whereas if you provide them the tools, you go, here's the tools, And yeah, we found out very quickly, with these top meteorologists, that if you can give them the best weather modeling forecasts, that's 80-90% of what they rely on. So yeah, we're not really involved per se with the coaches and the day-to-day level of then we're trying to get feedback from customers of what they want. And we get some great nuggets of what people want. And we've got within the team, we've got 15 people in our support team. And we've got, 4 Volvo Ocean Race sailors, obviously I've done the America's Cup. We've got guys that, raced against in the 49ers in Olympic campaigns, guys that have done, cruising miles. So we're all passionate about, they know what it's like to be out in the water with a good forecast, without a good forecast. And so when they're talking to the customers, we have these team meetings every week and around at my home actually. And it's the feedback coming through is fantastic of we can do this feature and that feature. But we're not, I guess, not really on the personalized forecasting side of things of like saying, okay, well, this is how you're going to win the regatta using tools in terms of on a one-to-one level. But we're just providing the best tools possible.
So on the tech side, like you mentioned before, there's a whole lot of data. I'm guessing, and having used PredictWind to translate all that data into something that your everyday yachty can read, that's one of the, definitely, from my side, one of the greatest things and easiest things to use with the tool.
Yeah, totally. And that's what we're trying to improve all the time. I mean, we first launched PredictWind, it was, as I said in it before, accurate forecast, how can it be? And you soon realize that actually most people don't even know if the forecast is accurate or not, all they know is the user interface. Is the user interface easy to use or not? And so it's pretty frustrating when people go, oh, I'm using XYZ just because I like to look at the graphics, And you go, what the heck?
Pretty colours and some crayons and away we go.
Yeah, it's got to be good. Look, so, we have to make it, so one of the things we did, for example, one of the formats is we call a daily briefing. And we grab, all the data and basically synthesize that into a text-based forecast. Ray Davies and Team New Zealand used to call it the Jon Bilger forecast, So we're basically getting rid of the outliers, we're averaging it. And it's amazingly good. I mean, I rate it pretty highly when I'm going kiting because when you're going winging or whatever, you kind of look at the model you want to look at, whereas this is very objective. It just looks at all of them, it gets rid of the outliers, and because you kind of, and then you go, well, okay, it's not going to be good because it's just taken the data and displayed it. So no, I think that's the key thing, and that's probably one of the big things that we've been working on really hard is to make the thing user friendly, and just to get the data in a form that's actually presentable. So, for example, extreme weather warnings. People look at the forecast and go, it's rubbish. Terrible forecast today. But they wouldn't have picked up on the fact there's high Cape today. Which is the chance of thunderstorms. They wouldn't have picked up there's rain and then gusts up over 25 knots, which is a good chance of rain squalls. And so now if you go into the tables now, you can see these little warning signals at the top of the table. Click on those and it'll tell you, there's a chance of thunderstorm, chance of rain squall, might be wind against current, and all the sort of things that can are really hard to get exactly right, but give you some indication of what you need to look for.
What have you seen?
Go back to
go BP.
I was just going to say, going back to when the app PredictWind became available on mobile devices, because that's the game changer right there, isn't it? The ability to be able to have that information instantly.
Sure.
Did you think that it would get to this level? Did you think that it would become such a thing that it's almost like every day someone would be on the app?
Yeah. Again, sort of naively thought we'd sort of build the app and then just sort of maintain it. And we started off with one developer, one sort of graphics person, and now we've got about 60 people contributing to PredictWind. I mean, not all full time, and so it's quite a big monster.
So I bet.
You kind of got we've got lots of different projects going on, and we're kind of probably our own worst enemy in terms of innovation. We just, man, that's cool. We got to do that. You know?
Got to do
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
I've got an AI. You know, well, how can we use that? That'll be cool. You know, imagine if you could actually talk to the app and say, hey, what's the forecast for Wednesday? You know, at such and such beach. You know, and it tells you what the forecast is. You know, and you can actually have the interaction. So yeah, we just
Spice is all over AI.
No, I'm going to say you could be the new Siri. Could go, hey, John, what's the forecast at Semaphore Beach today to go wingdinging? Believe it or not. No, and you could change the language.
No, not hey, John. No, hey, John. Hey, bro.
Yeah.
Or you go for the Aussie style. G'day, mate. What's the forecast today?
Exactly. No, we can do that.
Hey, what have you seen, John, in the...
there's a business idea right there, Bossy. Sorry.
Absolutely. I might do it myself.
Every nationality you could do it, you know?
So the info you're receiving from a model point of view, GFS or whatever it is, how have you seen the that information come and go over the years? Like, is it just... Are you just got so much data now that you actually need AI to filter it properly, or you've how's all that work?
Yeah, so we basically started off PredictWind. We had our two models. It's actually the same model but different inputs. You know, so we get observations from the Americans from the GFS model, and we get observations from the Europeans. And then we were the only ones doing 1 kilometer resolution at the time. This is 13 years ago, and actually people thought we were just making the stuff up. You know, you can't do 1 kilometer resolution; it's too high resolution. But then obviously as computing power's got better and better, and the other models have got better resolution, like ECMWF, they have 9 kilometer resolution for the whole world, you know. So we bought that data about 5 years ago. It cost us about $250,000 a year to get that data at the highest resolution. Wow. So that's the whole world of data. So we're a max charge customer for them. And then we found this other model called Spire, which is even better than ECMWF offshore. And now you have the biggest nano satellite network in the world. We are more complex. We have these sort of top 6 models that basically, you can look at and PredictWind in the tables. And, when you first look at PredictWind, you go, whoa, what, just give me one model, come on, mate, this is just too hard, But the thing is, if they're all got a consensus and saying the same thing, you can have more confidence in the forecast. So it's a false sense of security to have one model and it's completely wrong. At least you can say, well, generally in the first day, it's pretty close. And obviously, you go up to the end of the week, it can be all over the show. And, if they're all over the show, we don't know what's going on. That's basically. There is a bit of interpretation to it. And I think, obviously, as we get AI in there, we'll be able to improve that and make it better. What we got? We got the top guy from Team New Zealand who did all the AI from their last campaign. And that was, you've got these foils and testing these foils to see which is the fastest one, the best lift, the best drag. But around the race course, it can be completely different because you've got to tack and jibe. You've got to better do start moves. But he would actually, do AI to actually race the boat around the racetrack and then actually tell him which is the best overall foil, which is completely different to the best in the straight line. Very smart guy. I've known him for a long time. And, he's obviously an engineer and a software engineer. And so he works for us full time now. And one of the projects he did, which is convert the GMDSS text-based forecast, which is GMDSS is a global marine distress system for big ships. So when you pick up the phone on the bridge, you go straight through to the emergency services. It's all tracked. And one of the things they do is they have a weather forecasting system. So the whole world's divided into regions, and each region, New Zealand controls the Pacific, so the bottom Pacific, Australia in a certain area, and they do warnings for different things like cyclones or thunderstorms or whatever. And so they have these text-based forecasts, and they're very good. They're professional meteorologists looking at all the models, making their predictions. But if you try and read the forecast, oh my goodness, it's like you have to be a boffin to read it, And then you have to plot where the thing is, at lat long such and such, this tropical cyclone Harry is popping up here and moving at 10 knots here, and so he uses AI to actually reverse engineer all that text into a graphical element, and that's now displayed on all our maps. So that when you're, at the moment it's just showing the GMDSS for day 1, but it's going to go to day 2 and day 3. So then you can, when you're pulling up the map, you can see these, these warnings. There might be a thunderstorm area warning over your particular area. So yeah, I think there's huge potential there to do a lot more. And so we're just, pushing it as hard as we can.
The real value here, like I think with these modelling, something like PredictWind, with the long journeys, that ability when you're doing an ocean crossing or when you, not just racing, like cruising now, like people are able to take what you offer and actually have a lot more confidence when going to sea that, like you can make your route planning based around your weather modelling and put yourself in safety. And I'll give you an example of how important it is, because it'll mean everything to my relationship, because I have promised my wife when we go cruising we'll never sail upwind, right?
Love it. I love it.
And so, I can't emphasise how important PredictWind would be in that situation, because we're going to just stay anchored and drink and wine until we go, okay, we've got a week of downwind here, we'll go now.
Exactly.
And that's even 10 years ago, you just couldn't even think like that. But now that is possible.
Yeah, totally.
I remember the old weather faxes. Remember those? That was only 20 years ago. You could sit there and watch that bit of paper with blotchy black ink come out and go, what the stuff is that? There's no chance of reading those old things.
I know. They're all shutting them down now because no one's using them.
Yeah.
But it is amazing because, one of the things we're quite proud of the fact is, back when we started off PredictWind, weather routing was sort of the domain of, top racing navigators. And, cruising sailor weather routing is, you might get the odd boffin using it, but, that was just way too technical. And, even when I was working with, Telefonica, doing their weather, updates around the world, and you'd sit down and we're using, say a Adrena expedition and you're getting all the data in and doing the briefing, it would take, half an hour to get all the grid files down, compare different models and present it to the team. It's a quite a timely, a time-consuming process, And so, now with PredictWind, it's simply like, you put your start destination, click the button, and then 6 models, you've got that information for your whole trip. And so it's just transformed the game. It's made so pretty much every single cruising sailor that we have uses weather routing. And because it's all done in the cloud and, on our servers, basically we're crunching so much data at the highest possible resolution. It's gigabytes of data, and you get the weather routing results. It's a tiny, tiny file, So it's made it really, really easy for people to use. And the big thing with that technology too is we soon realized that it's actually what'll get you is not like you're talking about it. It's not the wind, it's the waves, right?
Yeah.
It's this whole upwind downwind thing. And so we recently added, like a year ago, this hydrodynamic modeling within PredictWind routing. So this is a real game changer. So basically we have, monohulls or catamarans, and you put in the dimensions of your boat. So the woodline length, the beam, the draft, the displacement. And we basically have modeling for every single wave condition you could possibly come across. And this is not just primary waves, this is primary, secondary, and tertiary. So most people are downloading a forecast, they're looking at the primary wave state, but it's those conditions where you have primary, secondary, and tertiary with very confused wave state and short period things. It can be really, really, really dangerous, Yeah. And so basically when you're running the route, it's looking at the effect of the performance of the waves in your boat, whether the boat's going to slow down or speed up, which is kind of interesting. But the main thing is actually it'll tell you, how much roll you're going to have on the boat. And we know above like 3 degrees RMS roll, it's really hard as you stand up on the boat, it's dangerous. How much vertical acceleration, which is related to seasickness.
Wow.
In fact, they've proven that you can actually make anyone seasick with the right vertical acceleration. They've proven that in the Navy. And then boat slamming. So obviously, when the boat's chopping wood upwind. So we can predict that with high accuracy now, which is, it just makes the whole thing, like, because I did a trip recently from Auckland to Fiji. One of the guys is a professional delivery captain. He keeps his hand and he does the odd delivery trip. And he said, "Oh, you should come along with me, John." I said, "It'd be awesome. Good to get, go and do an offshore thing. I've been out offshore for a while." And it's like what they call in the industry, eating your own dog food, and I'm thinking, and then we got like this quite big swells. It's like 3.5, 4 meter swells, and they're behind us. I'm thinking, man, this could be heinous, But all the roll and the vertical acceleration and the boat slamming was all fine. And sure enough, we got out there. It was as predicted. It was good, no problem. And but yeah, it was really quite heartwarming to you actually out there and
in real life.
The rest of the team were giving me a hard time, like you better, because we give our customers, we get these customers coming who don't actually do their preparation and they're trying to turn this thing on, and one of the team members says, "Oh God, they deserve to perish at sea." And I'm saying, "John, you better not perish at sea,"
I've found you 3 customers, John, just in case you're wondering. If you go to the Ocean Globe race, they're coming out of Europe, they've crossed the equator and they're heading into Cape Town. And as we all know, head over to
West is best.
Yeah, head over to Brazil, loop around the high there, and come in from the bottom. That memo hasn't got to 3 people. They're not using PredictWind. You can quite clearly see they're taking the straight line approach, and they could be there for another month.
We talked about this last week, though.
Tacking on Tuesday.
Last week on the show.
Actually, it was just, not trying to name drop here, but basically Paul Kayard come through to me on my email, and he was doing some sort of, I don't know, press release thing for that race, because they got no weather on board, right? They got none.
Correct.
Weather facts.
No.
And he's telling me this. He says, I'm seriously concerned for them. And he's using a weather routing tool and, doing like a bit of a summary of what they're going to get. And we got the tracking on there, so it makes it easy for him to do the weather routing. But yeah, he says, like, this could go real bad. Southern Ocean, they get the wrong side of a system.
Yep.
I mean, actually, it's just not. I mean, it sounds romantic, right? We're going to go back in time, and we're going to use the old technology. And
that's what they're doing. They're going back in time.
Yeah, and he says the weather facts thing is worse than it used to be, because all these stations are closed down. So they're like, they don't have any weather. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That is.
Well.
And you can't get tapes for your Walkman anymore,
Can't get cassettes. You're still living off your Dire Straits 1982.
Alchemy album's really starting to stretch.
It's before the Sony Walkman, so no good.
It is a sort of the whole concept of how you've created this thing, and it's got to this amazing element. And while we're joking about it, what we've actually talked about there is safety. You've actually the whole concept of being comfortable was where we were started this conversation. You can go to sea and you'll be comfortable, right? But now we're talking about complete safety, and that doing a Southern Ocean crossing and being able to stay in weather systems, you've got your polars, and you can actually put yourself in a safe situation. That's probably the most impressive thing. For whether it's a race organizer, they can make that decision whether to go or not go, which we saw with the Mini Transat. They delayed a day. That element of what you are doing is a game changer. Just purely from that safety aspect.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, first of all, when you say you, I mean, it's not me; it's the team. I've got
of course,
smartest guys behind us. The development team, is the support team, the marketing. So yeah, I mean, my skill set really is to assemble the right team. But yeah, I mean, You're so true, and it's really cool. It's probably one of the big drivers for me doing the businesses because you have a lot of mates in the sailing game, and they've kind of gone into cruising, like Hamish Wilcox, for example, and they're using our tools, and they go, oh, "Man, this is just so amazing, so good." And then we get reports from families that have completed their done a 2 or 3 year ocean cruise, and they go, thanks for keeping us safe. We just, you guys are amazing. And so it's because we're all sailors, we kind of get that. And it's a big driving thing. So we're always looking for things to make it safer. Like for one thing we added, which is completely non-related to weather at all, is AIS data. So as AIS, as you know, basically shows the position of a ship by VHF. And normally it's only like 20 nautical miles. Great for collision avoidance on your chart plotter, so you can see a container ship coming past. But the weather company that we use, Spire, they have all this AIS data goes into their satellites because it's going directly into space. The VHF signal can be picked up by these bigger ships. So we literally have any sort of AIS data for any ship, vessel offshore. Class 1 vessels definitely will come through the big ships. We have 300,000 vessels at one time. So basically, when you're doing your weather route, you can also download the AIS data, all the vessels within, say, a 300 nautical mile range.
Yeah, right.
So you can say, okay, well, I'm coming, I've got, looks like, I mean, you're not going to use it for collision avoidance, but you can say, well, tonight on watch, looks like we've got to watch out for these, half a dozen container ships, or there's a big, massive fishing fleet in our way. We don't really want to sail through that. That could have some long lines out or who knows what. So those sort of things are really, really cool features.
I think we've got the next step coming, lads. It's the tracking down the sunfish union and the
the sunfish.
If we can
That's
get
one
them
you need to put on. The orcas.
That'll stuff them, won't it? Hey, that'll stuff them. They think they're smart at them. They think they're pretty smart at the moment, don't they?
That's the next module for the development for you guys, mate.
Yeah. Exactly.
It is super cool though. Like, I think we're sort of coming very close to running out of time, but I'm interested. The question we have to ask is it? I assume it's AI, but what is the next stage? Where's the next evolution of what PredictWind will be able to offer?
Well, I can tell you the feature's coming out in the next month, which is I think it's going to be a major game changer. We've been working this the last 3 years.
Here we go.
Is predict current.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. So tidal currents for pretty much all the coastlines around the world.
Wow.
And so we have, there's obviously companies that have done it before and they've done sort of different areas, but we've got worldwide coverage. We've got Antarctica and the Arctic, but everywhere else, you can see tidal currents. And then for certain areas with very high currents, we've got very, very high resolution models. And so that's, that data is going to be available within PredictWind and part of the modeling and part of the weather routing, so that when you do your weather route, you'll be using all those tidal currents, which we have ocean currents at the moment and have limited areas at the moment, but this will be sort of worldwide coverage. So that's, and then we'll have a separate app for that. The app is going to be, sort of lower priced for getting, be in between a basic and standard package. And, one of the things we'll do is highlight when you get wind against current, which is obviously can be really nasty. So that's going to be, I think a really nice, for fishermen, for sailors, for everyone. I think it'll be a great tool. So that's a long time coming, but it's, I think it's going to be amazing. So we work with a team of oceanographers who did this, and that they've done an amazing job. So yeah.
I can see it now. Sydney, 24th of December. Everyone will be looking at their phones. Do I go out for a blinder and a big Christmas lunch, or I'll be able to hold it in for a day or two?
Exactly.
I love it.
What blows my mind, and
passage planning,
and conscious of timing here, but just the way we've seen technology. What are they? Is it Bohr's law or something that it doubles every year or whatever?
Moore's law, yeah.
Just how that evolves and trying to keep up. I mean, like you say, you surround yourself with some of the best in the industry. That would be a challenge in itself.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're very fortunate we've got some amazing developers, and they are, they're the geniuses that make PredictWind great, that's for sure. We give them the feedback, we get these ideas, we design it with the design team, they do an amazing job of the design, and then they just give it to them, can we have this, So yeah, that's the challenge for us, is to keep on top of this technology and keep it. And one of the great things is we made a decision like 10 years ago to go with Amazon Web Services. So that's just, that's just, used to keep me up at night. I bought in the early days, I bought $130,000 US worth of computing equipment, and we
put it in your basement.
Well, I was like, a server farm in the States.
Yeah,
one would break.
Make a bit of Bitcoin while you're there.
Oh no, far out. And we had these servers running 24 hours a day just trying to keep up. And we divide the world into 4 regions, and we just try and get the forecast out, roughly before you wake up in the morning. But now we have these, we can spin up the most, humongous amount of, servers within Amazon and just pay for the 2 hours we use them and then shut them down again. So
wow.
We spent a lot of money with them, but it's well worth the money because that technology side is taken care of,
It's very cool.
Well, Jeff Bezos just brought a boat with 3 rigs in it. So thanks for keeping us all employed.
It's been an interesting conversation, John. It really has. Like, one thing that this will surprise you. The thing that sort of jumped out to me is your conversation about team, surrounding yourself by the best people. And I finally realised what I've been doing wrong with my life. So I appreciate that. You've actually
speak for yourself. I thought you blokes are pretty good. Good.
But yeah, no. In terms of if the listeners wanted sort of haven't come across PredictWind, is it a trial period that they can do, or how does it work if people want to sort of experience it?
Yeah, well, we have a free version. So basically, in fact, most of our users, we've got around 1 million users. Right. Most of them on the free version. So just go on to download the app, and you got to register. But there's a free. We probably give away too much for free. Like you can forecast anywhere in the world for free, tables and the graphs and the maps, and then obviously some of the features like the observations and some other things like you can only get 2 forecast locations at one time on the free version. But we give away way too much for free, in my opinion.
Yep.
But that gets the word out. And so you download the app, you can go on the website and try it out. And then if you want to try some of the professional features, you just contact us and we can give you a free trial of that for. There's no problem doing that. So, we have our support team is, we're not just this big corporate. We're real people, our sailors, and we want to hear from you. So just reach out if you've got any questions.
I love it. I love it. Like, just all those things you were talking about during that whole episode, all those different details, like that stuff is a game changer. So I sort of, actually knowing it exists is pretty critical, it's super cool.
You're one step closer to your catamaran, aren't you, Jordan?
Oh, that's it, mate.
All right, mate. Getting easier.
John,
awesome.
Ton of fun chatting to you. I suspect we'll chat again in the future because, probably even close to the cup, we'll, get a bit more fired up about all those things. But good on you it's incredible, like being a dumb bastard and then being able to talk to someone like you who's created this sort of amazing technology is an honour. So I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here at Bar Karate. We'll look forward to chatting some more, mate.
Oh, pleasure. Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. It's good fun.
Awesome, John. Good to see you again.
Good on you, mate.
We'll be certain to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks,
not long in, see you in the soup, as they say.
Yeah, totally.
Cheers.
You might have seen me smirking there, boys, on the video. When you were talking about promising to your wife that you're never going upwind.
Yeah.
So you got 2 choices, I reckon. one, you get PredictWind, or two, you live out your catamaran fantasy and you buy yourself a proa because they never go upwind.
Oh yeah. No.
Mate, that was
amazing.
cool. And to the listener,
yeah,
you didn't get it, but we had a little chat to Jon after the episode there.
We went for ages.
Quite a while, and we kind of gave all our predicts and all our predicts and all our predicts what they could all be. One thing we didn't talk about though, boys,
what
is predict your nutrition.
Like
how you could write that into it, right? Because I mean, having used the app and actually the desktop feature. Just to do a bit of routing, e.g., prior to the the Teakle Blue Water Classic, just to get the boys to know exactly what's happening, and you can send them the information, you can send them the tables, or you can send them the chart or whatever it is. But you could also now send them what they'll be eating.
Yeah,
Radix Nutrition.
Yeah,
well, you could do Predict Radix.
Predict Radix. For the listener, like we talk afterwards, and we've never recorded it because we don't do the Patreon thing, and we haven't sort of gone down that path. But the conversations we have after are just insane, and that was a really, really fun one. And there was some great ideas that were bounced around and stuff.
Oh, they were great ideas. All right. They're gonna take off.
The banter there.
I can just imagine Jon now sitting there going, "What did I just do?"
Yeah. There's a couple of things that popped to mind after that conversation, boys. Is that we should do live shows where we have all that sort of. I don't know if it'll keep flowing because once the mics are switched off, the conversation loosens up just a tiny bit more. And if we're on stage, it might or it might not work. I don't know, but we should doing live shows, but maybe.
Well, the other thing that's come out of it, Jordan, is maybe it is time we create a Patreon account and we actually
never thought of that.
We record these and make them available to the listener.
Yeah. Well, I guess the listener could tell.
We might get around to that in the next 12 or 24 months, I guess.
Yeah. But
we've got a lot on. We've got a lot on coming up. But
yeah, with Predict Nutrition, if you are looking to run your nutrition, you got a big regatta coming up or a big offshore event, or just you're trying to live healthier, then just jump onto Radix Nutrition. Remember, if you type into the code, you can use the word bar karate, and that'll get you a discount, 10% discount on your Radix. And let us know what you think. We would be happy to hear from it. But yeah, all very cool. Yeah, cool. Moving on. Shall we move on, boys?
What's next? What's in the agenda?
Club events, things that are coming up, regattas to keep your eye out for, boys. I've put one down here. The ICF Canoe Ocean Racing World Championships, Western Australia. Things are getting busy in Western Australia. Now, canoe racing is nothing to do with sailing, but there's a whole bunch of us actually do it and go ocean paddling. So I just thought I'd highlight that the actual world champs are not too far away from getting underway in Western Australia. And I just, Bossy, you've got a big BP. You're the only one that doesn't have one. You don't have one, do you? But you're buying toys.
Oh no, I've got 5,000 in the shed next to me. Mate, I'm an expert at it. I'm watching them build every day.
Yeah. I love it.
It's incredible. Yeah.
For all
what colour do you want, mate? You can have. I can get you one with custom paint jobs as well.
Or anything you can. I'm into it, BP. I love them. I mean,
mate,
you're in the Nilo factory, aren't you?
Skis and kayaks and bloody other things you paddle in my life.
Yeah, well, the ski's what I like, and Bicey's the same. But so
cut my teeth on an Nilo ski actually.
Yeah.
From day one. Yeah. So
okay. I forgot about you being in Nilo, of course. Yeah, BP, you're the expert now. Anyway, end of November.
I am, mate. Yeah.
End of November, start of December. So Western Australia is a good time. So for those Wally windsurfers that are heading over, if you get there a little early, you can double up. A couple of events to do. And basically, for those who have no idea what we're talking about, you're getting a 6 metre long, super thin kayak, and you paddle downwind and you ride the waves for about 20, 30 kilometres. It's a ton of fun. And as long as you don't get eaten by the sharks, you're good.
Yeah. Just don't fall in.
Love it.
Easy.
Yeah.
The other good thing, 16s are back and the 18s are back. So if you want to watch a bit of sailing on TV and a lot of fun stuff, pretty loose, the 18-foot skiffs in Sydney put on a stream, so you can just look up 18s, and the 16s have been doing the same. I think it's the same company doing it. So you're more than welcome to jump on to and have a look. We just thought you'd let you know their sailing starts. There'll probably be one on TV in a few hours. Oh, actually, when we're recording, when we published, you'll have missed it. Just go back and have a look. You'll be able to catch up and watch.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. Where are we? What's happening?
We don't know.
What?
Don't know what day it is. Don't know.
40th anniversary of the PIC. I don't know how to pronounce it. PIC, is it PIC? Coastal Classic.
Or the Puck. I believe it's Puck.
The Puck Coastal Classic.
The Puck Coastal Classic, yes. And this is exciting as well because one of my boats is in it, so I'm looking forward to that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Straight out drag race. 120 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's the biggest sort of offshore event in New Zealand, so it is a big one.
Definitely, yeah. The Great Race, I believe they call it.
Yeah.
It is the great race. I mean, it is. There's a lot of great races, but this is
The Great Race.
Yeah.
Great race
No
in the land of the Long White Cloud.
I'll be interested to see how your boat goes, BP, how the X2
great
goes.
race.
Will they have will they have a big Radix nutrition sticker on the side? Are they that loyal?
Mate, it's Radix, mate. It's mate. The big black North 3DI main saws. The whole thing is a silver Radix.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Oh yeah, no, she's a full. It's called Radix. The boat. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So there you
cool.
go.
There's that all ties in. 20th of October, I think, is race day.
Yep, 20th.
Yep.
And they finish in Russell Bay of Islands. Beautiful place to
beautiful.
finish, by the way.
Beautiful.
Which is actually where the owner lives. So yeah, it's all handy.
So yeah, best of luck for everyone entering that, and we'll watch with interest, obviously. The other thing that we do want to mention is that the Hansa World Champs are about to start
Yes.
in Portugal, BP, so you'll probably head down in Portimao.
Beautiful place of the part of the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
Villa de Cons let me down. I might have to get down south a bit.
Yep. Jump there. So it's literally starting as we publish. It'll be starting this weekend. So practice race as we publish, and then this week will be the Racing World Champs. So this is the Hansa's the little boat that for, I don't know what the correct term to use, handicap sailors, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yep.
So best of luck to all the competitors competing in their World Champs. Smash it. They've got a full program of sailing and social events. I've just got visions of people getting drunk and falling backwards off their wheelchairs, but hopefully they're all happy and safe. But yeah, it'll be a great event, and it's a great place. And if you're going to Portugal, as Bicey said, it's beautiful. But BP's living there right now, and she's a glamour country, so it'll be great fun for all the competitors.
It is a glamour country, and good luck to all those all the guys and girls in the Hansa class. It's it's exciting.
Yeah,
love it.
Exciting. Cool. Boys, we go on to the listeners of the week. Remember?
No, I've got one more just to throw in there.
Oh, good.
In our
just throw
home
it in.
waters, 2 weeks to go before the before entries close for the Sydney to Hobart.
Oh, yeah, good point.
And
yes.
let's not forget what's happening at the pointy end of the fleet, let's say, which of course is what the only 5 boats that are in the race, the 100-footers. But of course, we'll do a rundown on everyone. But there's a bit of movement, a bit of fever in the 100-footer class, of course. Of course, we've got Comanche, who finishes their charter after this particular race. So the last one for Hermie and the boys to really light her up. Law Connect, of course, they'll be fighting out hard with their regular contribution, always been close. Scallywag, new full reconfiguration. So we've seen, for those following what Scallywag's going through on the socials, I think they're just about to relaunch or pretty close to. and then motoring down the coast, pick up their new pipe, and then down to Sydney to step the rig and all that sort of stuff. And then, of course, we've seen it this week.
Yeah.
Renamed Wild Thing Yachting, Stefan Racing, former 80-footer, now 100-footer, come rolling out of the shed and literally rolling to turn up the right way to finish everything, to then see pretty much how on earth they're going to make the start of the Sydney to Hobart.
It's always a story. Oh, well, hopefully we hear a bit of news about that. Let's just stay tuned there, listeners.
All very subtle, BP. Very subtle.
Yeah. But, pretty typical program in that regard, that bite off more than you can chew and chew like fuck, as they say, and Warro's the man for it. So I'm pretty sure we'll see the boat on the start line.
No question. No question.
So let's see.
Okay, well, let's that does open up. So I was going to go into the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week, and remember, if you are chosen of the Listener of the Month, you'll get the $200 Aussie voucher from our friends at Vycobi. So keep rolling in. The easiest way to get to us is cheers@barkarati.com. Boys, so let's give you a rundown. My mate Dean Blatchford. Do you guys know Dean Blatchford?
No.
I don't think so, no.
He's an absolute legend sailor, super talented sailor, won a bunch of 505 championships, was the man for quite a while, and is one of my favourite blokes. I do enjoy Dean. I have a few beers with that boy as often as I can, and he's been texting me quite regularly. He is not the only one that is sending it through, but Dino has been texting me quite regularly about an event that is ongoing, and I want to get the wording right. It's defender.x. So if you're into the gram, it's a couple of Land Rover Defenders. Yeah, Bossy, I've been sending you this and you haven't followed through. A couple of Land Rover Defenders that are going from London to San Francisco, I think it is.
What?
And
get me on this. I'm having a look now.
And with that in mind, they're starting, obviously you can't drive across the English Channel. So, but they've motored these Defenders on floats across the English Channel, and they are in France. I've got Dino's got the footage. He's been sending me photos and footage.
There it is.
There they are, Arc de Triomphe, and they're off and away. So they've basically put these Defenders on big floats. A lot of people have sent this in, but Dino's was first, and he's kept me in the loop. So thanks to everyone that's been sending it in. But I've sent you this, Bossy, and you were obviously ignoring the messages.
No, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the algorithms, you type in Defender once, you get every single Defender thing.
Yeah.
But no, I've definitely seen them making. I saw the one going up the Thames, I reckon.
Yeah.
But now I'm looking at it and going across the English Channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, happy days.
Know what I'm doing this weekend? Building a raft. Me and Carl Howard, we're building a raft.
You're gonna go to Stansbury, are you, mate?
Stansbury, straight over, and then we'll make our way to the shack in Turton.
There you go.
Oh, beautiful.
Easy.
I love it. You got it planned.
You don't have to drive the 300 kilometres to get there now. Just go straight across.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
it. Good work.
It's only 18, 19 mile across. You'll be right.
It's I love that. I love that stuff coming through because it is great. It is great. Listening to the show, finding out the interest and coming back at us. Another one that we got is a secret pro message from Ian Michelle. Ian Michelle.
Yep.
Hey guys, love your work. Just a bit of a rumour. Not often a club sailor gets to hang with the cool guys. I happened to be in Greece a couple of weeks ago on a yacht charter organised by Terry Wise from Pacific Sailing School. There you go, free plug. I hope that gets you a free boat use for a week there, Ian. We had anchored on the island of Kithnos, and we're coming back from the beach in the tender when we went past a beautiful X-Yachts. Geez, you're putting all the plugs in here.
Jesus, yeah.
X43 had an Australian flag and a boxing kangaroo hanging off the spreader, so we thought we'd say good day.
No, of course it did.
Yep. Turns out skipper was a guy called Will Oxley.
Don't know him.
Yeah, don't know him. Never heard of him.
No.
He was taking a bit of a rest after the Middle Sea race. Oh, on your Will.
Well, pre-Middle Sea race.
Well, this must have been. I think it's pre-middle sea.
It was after middle sea race starts next weekend.
That's right. Yeah.
So it was after this Maxi Worlds.
Yeah, there you go.
Maxi Wells, yeah.
Well, he wrote after the middle sea. So Ian, you failed there, naughty boy. Are you going back home
no
after
Rolex
this?
for you, Ian.
Yeah. No, I'm off to Finland to do sea trials of Raven. Don't know much Raven at this stage. Maybe you guys know a bit. Maybe Will can tell you a bit more. Well, we are all over Raven. We're over Raven like a fat kid's over a chocolate cake. We will tell more on that
You're
one.
on the edge tonight, boy.
You did see my response though, boys.
What's that?
I did send a bit of a reel of the Raven.
Yep.
Off of the book. So I'm sure Ian's on the socials. He'll be able to have a look at it. And there was a bit of footage after the sailing up in Finland. I've been chatting to a few of the lads on the Raven, and just for the listeners, that's the Botine 111.
With the foils?
With the foils. And she's pretty much lights up. And it does exactly. The reel that I did send was based on where's the trickle down. And literally, we're seeing it every day now, boys.
It is true.
You know, when the cup first happened and we're like, how on earth is this going to trickle down? Well, it's trickled up. It's trickled down.
It's trickled up.
We're seeing kids just whizzing
trickled
around.
Up, trickled down, trickled all around.
Yeah, whizzing around in all sorts of craft with foils. So, yeah.
I think
stay now, no question.
I've got to say, you're right. It's more than a trickle now. We're at an ooze stage.
Oh,
are we? Like in heavy ooze, maybe.
Yeah, we're in heavy ooze.
Heavy
stage.
ooze.
Yeah.
Heavy ooze. We should get some ointment on that, you reckon? Some ointment. The ooze.
I love it. The other one.
But hey, no, it's pretty full on. That boat is an amazing bit of kit.
We'll go deeper into that one though. That's part of the plan. All right. So for the listeners, we'll get some insight on that one for you.
Good one.
The other one is a young fella by the name of Dale Geddes came through. Cadbury's son. Lads, give Hugo another shout, just because we mentioned Hugo last week, the sailing Frenchman, and he's just completed the mini transat since he spoke, including hunting and securing a pretty decent mini sponsorship, and is now sailing with another mate, Ryan Barkey, on a C40. Ryan's a northerner Aussie and tied up with the IMOCA Canadian Ocean Racing Team, Scott Scheuer. Anyways, maybe a good follow-up chat, Pathways. I love this. Like our listeners, this is the theme of this week. It's the listeners coming in with ideas. They're talking about fun stuff for us, and it's like they're giving us gifts, and we're very appreciative. Hey?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
we'll try. The sailing Frenchman would be bloody good. Get him back on once he's, once he's available. So just to hear how it's all happened and where he's ended up, it's
But these listeners giving us gifts, and the best one, we'll give you a gift at the end of the month. Thanks to Vicobi. Ole, ole, ole,
It's hot time.
Hang on, we've got to talk about something. What have I got to talk about?
Huh?
Just the reaction on your face is like, have I thought about anything?
Listeners can't see this, but I've got my little notes here.
Oh, yeah, copy.
I was deciding what I could call this little part today, whether it's the winners or losers, but maybe we call it the hot or not.
Oh, hot or not. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Good on you. Yeah, that's good. Moving forward.
So, hot or not, hot this week is IMOCA World going on. We'll talk about TJB in a minute.
It's getting busy.
But Wholesome just been relaunched with Skipper Nicholas and, of course, friend of the show, Roslyn, as co-skipper on board.
That's great.
So they're pretty hot at the minute. Short prep, though. Haven't done much yachting. Coming in. They're only take off in 2 weeks' time. Literally taken off. The other one I thought I'd pick quick shout out to, who I saw on the dock the other day, Jack Boutel, sailing with Sam Davies. Been seeing a bit of footage of them yatcheting around in their new Sam Manward boat. So up to them. And one final one, we're yet to get him on the show, but we definitely will be, is our mate Nick Maloney, friend of the show.
We tried.
Has joined with our Canadian buddy, with Scotsy, with Shawsy.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Shawsy.
Shawsy.
Don't Shawsy. Don't go down that path. There'll be no reciting Shawsy on this show.
How you now?
Shawsy.
How you now?
Oh, we know.
You know.
So everyone, if you don't watch
So
Letterkenny,
mates
you
the
definitely
other
got to
day.
watch Letterkenny to work out who Shawsy is. But yeah. So we're calling the
No, that's
You
super
know-
cool. Nick Manoli and Scott. It's good.
So Lonesy's come out of retirement for this. Like,
Yeah,
not necessary real retirement, but probably never thought he'd see himself back on a mocker boat
I bet he's
in
excited.
this kind of scene. But bloody good on you, Lonesy, for taking that on. So good luck to everyone. We'll probably
And with-
next
and with a
week
great
go
guy.
much deeper into TJV world. But yeah, assembly period has literally started today.
Yep.
As we speak in Le Havre. So Le Havre, yeah. So everyone's getting there, getting ready. 47, 48 iMockers or something
That's
bloody
fantastic,
stupid
isn't it?
number
So
like that.
good. I
Ridiculous.
actually spoke to Shawsy the other day.
Yeah.
He was on his way over, so yeah.
Yeah.
He's excited. He's excited.
Oh,
a bunch of
sorry, boys. I'm still Letterkenning out here. You know what everyone says to Shorty. You know, like I wish I could say it on the show.
Oh, you just
I'm just laughing.
for those who watch it and know what we're talking about, they'll be laughing their bloody proverbials off.
Anyway,
Move
so
on.
yeah, we will jump on. So what is it? 2 weeks, as you said, double-handed race, 5,400 miles across the Atlantic. It's going to be so exciting. So exciting.
We'll give a full rundown. By that time, also, we'll know the exact course of what everyone's running. I think if you remember a couple of years back when they did it, like basically the old teams head a whole way south, then turn back up north along the African coast into Caribbean. iMocker's not quite as far for the 40s straight across type thing. Yeah. So, but we'll go into detail with that next week.
Love it.
Oh, not hot or not. So I sent a note, boys, to you guys, but on the book this week, I saw a few photos and it reminded me of those kind of posts of, you know, the 1980s high school photo shots. Yeah. And it had all these people, like very well-known people. And I had to second guess what I was looking at because I thought it was like, you know, a picture of someone back in their, you know, their yearbook. But no, it was the Team GBR Olympic team being named.
I know what you're getting at.
Oh, and I saw these photos of the team that have been named, and they are decked out lovely in their nice shade of red.
Yeah.
Could this be the worst Olympic clothing ever?
Oh, Icy, you've gone hard.
Absolutely.
Because Australia has the
out.
record. Like
that's why I can go hard.
Yeah.
The khaki poo brown with the yellow shirts.
But now
the Team GBR sailing team, a few teams have been named.
We should make it a competition. Like we should actually banter on about it and, you know, put it up on the show and
we might do a actually what we'll do. So Team GBR lead the way at the minute. What we'll do, we'll do a comparison
of
all the teams and their uniforms.
Righto.
A segment, Olympic sailing team segment, clothing.
I love it.
No, we do love what they do. Mark, we've had him on the show, Mark Robson. So, and arguably one of the most successful Olympic teams ever. So let's see what happens. So, yeah, we're just taking the piss. No need to write in about that. Other ones, boys, Sydney to Auckland.
Finished, I think, for most of them.
Huh?
Most of them are in?
Most of them in. What, blah, blah. Who won that? Antipodes,
yes.
The ex-Santa Cruz 70, or Santa Cruz
friend
70.
Friend of the show, Bradshaw Kellett was on board.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So
good on them.
Hello to Brad.
Done well, and they've snuck across in 1 week, and I'm sure they'll be enjoying a Spates or whatever it might be in the Royal Akarana Yacht Club now as we speak.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
loving it.
But I mean, I think we're sort of publishing this race because we want it to succeed. We want this one to grow. We're super keen on it. So I think it's a fantastic idea for a race. So, yeah, get into it. Into next time.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And then finally, boys, what I have, Soul GP. She's back on this weekend at time of recording. We do not know who the winner is, but it's probably bound to be New Zealand based on having Liv on last week. So, but I've seen, so we can't talk too much about it, but given we don't know what the hell's happened. But yeah, good luck to the K1s. Just pop the new, it's not a new pipe, it's actually a new wing in their vessel.
Yep.
Seem to be smoking around.
At
the moment, so
they're in
ready to roll.
Spain. Yeah. So
it is, yes.
Weather looking any good there, BP?
Well, if they get any of this, they won't be. But then again, we want to see these things blasting around in some breeze.
I think looking at the PredictWind app, we probably did we just that was a free plug again. We didn't
just
take
having
anyone.
a look now.
Yeah, I think Saturday will be lighter than Sunday, but she should be a fairly windy one Sunday. Just having a quick squeeze at it, but yeah, it'd be good. There'll be good sailing. It won't be a driftathon. So yeah,
up to 15 on Sunday.
Yeah. So it'd be good fun for watching that one. So good luck to everyone and all the teams getting back together. It's the third year in Cadiz, I think. Starting to become entrenched.
Great place. It's a great place. Yeah, I love it there.
Very cool. So that's it from you there, boys?
Yeah, that's it from, yep.
I wanted to...
Well done, boys.
I wanted to throw out a couple of things, add to the program here. Of course, the Swan One Design World Champs are on.
50s, yes.
Yeah, they should finish by the time this goes to, it should be finished. Very close to being finished. All the different classes racing in Toscana, I think it is. Best of luck to everyone. A couple of races left. So all the different classes in the One Design fleet that the Swan offers, which I think the 36, the 42, the 50, the 45, and they do some rating stuff as well. So it's a pretty cool time. Leading in the 36 is G-Spot. Just mad respect. I mean, we really need to have a lot more fun with names is the honest truth. But anyway, so... enjoy that if you're in Tuscany and having a grand old time. A question for you, Mr. Bice.
Yeah.
Nick Bice took on the role at Southerns.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, I notice. Congratulations to Bill Hughes. Just got appointed technical director at Southerns, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, cracking guy too, by the way. Super smart. It's going to really drive that design team and basically just produce things even better.
You can tell it's a New Zealand company because they're hiring people with one-syllable names.
Keep things simple around the morning meeting. Bill.
You don't want to overcomplicate things.
Bob. Pete. Ben. Will.
And even if he's you're right, even if he's a two-syllable name, they bring it back to one.
That's right. No, but yeah, she's
like a friend of the show, Jared Wallace, who I've been travelling with the last week or so. Joe.
Yeah. Joe Wall.
Dear.
Very good.
You did talk about the 100 coming out of the shed. Or there's a heap of people sent us the footage and images, and we shared with a bit. Tommy Quick was one. Ed Allen jumped in. Denise, all of you guys sending bits to us. We love it, so I appreciate that very much.
We had a funny little bit of a to and fro with Denise. She says, "You probably know more than me," and I came back saying, "Well, what makes you think that?" It's quite a funny little exchange.
The last one I wanted to bring up, I sent this link to you blokes. There's a company, Score, I think they call themselves Score, SKAW, and they're sort of into the racing side of things. They've got into the foiling stuff, and what they do is they've got like a little single-hander foiler, and then they've got their 6.5. They've got, I think Nicomatic BP. You're all over that. The Nicomatic 6.5.
No, I
yeah,
can't say.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
The full falling. Oh, I know what you're going through with this one now.
Yeah, the full falling one, right?
the
So
wet-
that's
Yep.
that's a 6.5 full falling, the scow bow, the whole thing. What they've actually just come to the world with, though, is the Score Paradise, right? Now, this is a cruising boat, but it's like a 42 foot. I think she's about a 40-footer scow-bowed cruising boat with like a deck saloon sort of cabin on it and foiling cruising boat. It's magic, boys. It's beautiful. It's like, I know you're not a scow fan, but
mate.
to go cruising at 20 to 30 knots.
Well, we were just talking about it earlier about trickle down and trickle up. I mean, here's
That's
a perfect
it.
example of it.
That's it. She's a gorgeous thing. If you boys Score Paradise,
It kind of reminds me of the Toyota FJ40 or whatever it's called. It's so ugly,
Yeah.
you just want one. But the practicalities, though, like it's
so much space.
how much space would it be? All those sorts of things. I'm just looking on it now, and it's a bunch of Frenchmen in there, and I believe score translated from French to English is scow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
they just mix the letters up a bit too much.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
pretty cool.
It is cool. I showed the bride some pictures this morning. She said, "Oh, that's how a boat should look." So
It kind of looks like the what do you call it? The deck of a catamaran inside.
yeah,
What do you call it?
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah. Yep, exactly that. It often it seems. I mean, you're going to be
Well,
able
that's what a scow bow offers up as well. There's so much more room in the boat.
You're going to go cruising. You're going to be undercover. You're going to be smoking along. It's got all the modern technology. I mean, I don't think it's going to be cheap.
Foils.
It's not going to be cheap. You might be cheaper just getting a catamaran, but she looks the goods. And let's be honest,
Looks the goods.
she looks the goods. Can you imagine turning up to your anchorage with that?
Imagine sailing past on that, doing the sail past at opening day.
Yeah.
Hey guys, make sure she's going on.
I love it. I love it.
Ray.
Oh, dear.
Come on.
Anyway,
Rambling on.
yeah. So the ooze continues. Let's say the ooze continues, and the future of
continues.
cruising.
The ooze goes either way.
It's off. It's away.
Righto.
All right, boys.
Have a lovely
All
weekend.
right, BP
gents.
needs to get to the pub.
Oh, yeah, BP. Yeah, sorry,
Well,
BP.
I've got a dog to walk. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, everyone. We really appreciate you joining in, and to show that appreciation, of course, and you want to get yourself healthy, go to Radix Nutrition, jump on their website, use the Barkarati, one word, as your discount code, and you will get a discount. And you're welcome, and thanks for listening. See you next week.
What about Vycobi?
It's all good, my friend.
Shout out.
Love you, Pat.
Very good. Go on, Pat. You beauty.